Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Phightins Phinal. I'm your host, Mike Lauro. Phils fall tonight at home against the Chicago Cubbies, 10-4. Looks like they were a little hungover tonight. Much to be expected as the Phillies go with an opener tonight. Again, Taijuan Walker, what else can we say? Hopefully he is not on this roster. It's good to see you guys. I've been going for a couple weeks. Unfortunately, duty calls. So had to step away for a few weeks. But hopefully going forward now, I should be able to be here for my scheduled duties here on the Phightins Phinal. Again, Phillies lose 10-4. And this game got away from the Phillies kind of quick. We're going to get into the scoring. But before we do that, let me do this. Let's knock this out the way. Let's get the people who pay our bills out the way. Sherry'sTicks.com. That's right, guys. If you want to go see all the playoff action down at Citizens Bank Park, make sure you reach out to Sherry'sTickets.com. Use that great promo code EOP10. What you see is what you pay. There are no hidden fees, so you won't be going to the checkout expecting to pay more. So, again, make sure you guys get over there to Sherry'sTickets.com. So we got to get Sherry's out the way. Make sure we get them in. Guys, tonight, it just really unraveled quick. And before we kind of get on Taijuan Walker, it's really kind of not his thing to come into a game with runners on base. He does a good job of letting them runners score when he's starting. So him coming into a game with runners already in scoring position, not the best thing. He was kind of wild to start off tonight. So, again, it just kind of went downhill with the Phillies pitching. We're going to go over the scoring recap right here. Bottom first, Bryce Harper gets the Phillies on the board with his 30th home run of the year. Hits a laser shot out to dead center field. Phillies are up 1-0. Top of the second, they walk. Taijuan Walker walks in Amaya. Walks Amaya. Bush comes in to score. It's tied at 1-1. Happ would draw a walk, and Horner would score, giving the Chicago Cubs a 2-1 lead. The next batter after that, Dansby Swanson, hits into a fielder's choice. Crow Armstrong would score, giving the Cubs a 3-1 lead. Suzuki would hit a single. Happ and Amaya would come in to score, making it 5-1. And then Cody Bellinger would single, and Suzuki. Remember that name, Bellinger, because he would have a very good night tonight in South Philly. He would put them up. He would put the Cubbies up 6-1 at that point in the top of the second. Bottom of the second, the Phils would get a run back. Garrett Stubbs lays down this beautiful bunt where he gets around and does this leap to first base. Nick Castellanos would come in and score, cutting that lead to 6-2. And it would stay that way from the bottom of the second up until the top of the sixth inning when that guy, Cody Bellinger, again, with the bases loaded, hits this double that didn't look like it was going to be a double down the right field line or past the first base bag, takes a crazy hop over Harper's head, goes into the corner. He hits a bases loaded triple. I'm sorry, not a double. Amaya, Suzuki, and Swanson would all score on that play, giving the Cubbies a 9-2 lead. And then Perez would hit into he would ground out, but Bellinger would score, giving them a 10-2 lead. And that would be until the bottom of the eighth inning when Kyle Schwarber would hit his 37th, I think they said, or 37th or 38th home run of the year. He hits a 2-run home run, driving in Rojas, cutting the lead to 10-4. And unfortunately, that's where it would end tonight on a 10-4 game. So, again, guys, looking back at this, tonight there was a lot of guys in the lineup that you normally wouldn't see, but there was also some starters in there as well. Castellanos played, Harper played, Turner played, Schwarber played. So, the top part of their lineup was still kind of they were still in there, but that team was definitely hungover. No JT Realmuto tonight. Bohm had to look like he was off tonight at the plate as well. And you have to give Steele, the starting pitcher, a little bit of credit for the Cubbies. He went in there and he was throwing strikes, man. Kind of had the Phillies off balance throughout this game, and they really couldn't get anything going other than the long ball per se. So with that being said, long night for the Phillies, man. Long night for the Phillies as they lose 10-4. Thank God they clinched. Right now they are a half a game underneath the Dodgers right now. The Dodgers do play later on at 10 o'clock against the Padres. We do have a scores. We will have scores coming up when we go around the league. Around the bases. But let's pay some bills real quick. Guys, if you're in the Ridley area, go to 24 East Sellers Avenue. The best little dive bar in Delco, that's right, Dolan's. And that handsome gent right there, that is PJ. When you go in, tell them that the guys from the Phightins Phinal and EOP sent you there. You will have a great time at Dolan's. And you never know who you might run into. A lot of former Philly sports legends seem to frequent Dolan's quite a bit. They do have memorabilia giveaways. They do Quizzo and also music. And their kitchen is not that bad as well. And guys, if you need legal representation, call our guy, David Archerry, for workers' compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, criminal law. Make sure you reach out to David at 610-565-0300 or www.cherryinjurylaw.com. And guys, for the best tailgate experience, road experience, go to Philly Sports Trips. Those guys took over New Orleans this past weekend. This weekend, they are set. Vince and the crew are set again to go down and take over Tampa. You guys can be a part of a good takeover too. Right here on the 20th of October. That's right. It is Saquon Barkley's return to the Meadowlands. And guys, I will tell you this. For the price of admission to go on one of these bus trips, even the local bus trips, man, the price is so worth it. You get a good seat, round trip to and from the game. You get a nice 3-hour long tailgate with food, beverages, music, and it's a really great experience. I've done one of these. I've done actually two. I did the tailgate opening day this year for the Phillies, and it was awesome. So, guys, make sure you guys get over there to Philly Sports Trips. Check them out because whoever the Phillies have in the divisional series, they're probably going to have tickets and setting something up to go watch the Phillies play. So who knows? And guys, tonight we're going to finish out the series. That's right. Our boy MattyB, he gets the last home game of the year. Wednesday night, he will be the guy taking you guys through this post game tomorrow. I'll be back Friday actually for game 1 of the National Series, so I will be back then. But looking forward to that, guys. Let's get to the Broad Street bottom line. Broad Street bottom line is this. Cody Bellinger was a beast tonight for the Chicago Cubs. He went 3 for 5, 4 runs batted in. He had a bases clearing triple, which really kind of broke this game open, guys. The Phillies were still kind of in striking distance. After being down 6-2, top of the 6th inning, he just breaks this game wide open. And then Perez, who follows him, would just knock him in right after that, giving them a 8-run lead that you knew tonight. Tonight wasn't going to be the night that the Phillies were going to try to chip away at an 8-run lead. You could just tell by the pitchers they used tonight. It was kind of almost like a Sunday getaway day type for the pitching. It was very weird coming off of what they've been doing. I guess they wanted to give some of these guys a rest give them some rest before heading into tomorrow, the final 4 games of the season, getting ready to come up. But it was a very weird pitching lineup tonight for the Phillies. They went with what they call an opener, and they threw Taijuan Walker in after that. I hope, to be honest with you, I hope I don't see Walker. I hope they do what they did 2 years ago and let him be a high-paid cheerleader for this team. I really don't want to see him on the postseason roster. To me, I don't feel like he's earned to be on the postseason roster. So, it's been nice with Allard and, the young guy that finished the game tonight. His name is slipping me right now as I'm thinking. But to me, honestly, let's stop with these experiments with these guys. I'm sorry, his name was Gilbert. So, Banks was the one that was the opener tonight. He didn't do too bad. He only went 1 1/3, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs. Again, the first 3 guys that scored in that inning were his responsibility. He had 1 K, no walks. Not a bad opening for him. Taijuan Walker went an inning and 2/3, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 3 walks. That's what kills me with this guy. This dude has no control. He would end up getting 1 strikeout. Kobe Allard would come in and actually do the brunt of the work tonight, pitching 4 innings, giving up 5 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Gilbert would go 2 innings, give up 3 hits, no runs, no walks, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. So, I mean, the Phillies all in all had 9 strikeouts tonight. Cubs pitching tonight had 10 strikeouts. So, again, they were just outclassed tonight, guys. And what I mean by outclassed was the pitching side of things. For some odd reason, the Phillies bats just could not get going. And the Cubs weren't really beating the world. I mean, they were at one point in this game, they were 3 of 11 with runners in scoring position. So, I mean, it's not like I think the Phillies were like 1 for 3 or 1 for 2. So, again, it's not like the Phillies had a whole lot of guys on base in this game. If you look at the totals in this game, the Cubs pounded out 15 hits today. 15 hits tonight. 10 runs, 15 hits, no errors for the Cubs. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Phillies. They just kind of had an offensive explosion tonight on Phillies pitching, did the Cubbies. And tonight it was a guy you saw, Cody Bellinger. It's a reason why a lot of teams wanted Cody Bellinger at the trade deadline, or his name was rumored to be moving during the trading deadline, because you got to see what type of player he was tonight. And going forward, man, to keep this home field, or to go after and keep home field advantage, or be one of the top 2, they're pretty safe, I think, away from the Brewers. They need 1 more win, and they solidify the number 2 seed. But this number 1 seed, them and the Dodgers going back and forth, the Phillies more or less have to finish with at least the same record as the Dodgers for them to get the number 1 seed and have everything go through Citizens Bank Park. Me, personally, I don't care as long as they're one of the 2 teams that get off. I don't care if they're number 1 or if they're number 2. It doesn't matter to me. Because either it doesn't matter, whoever comes out of that wild card thing, they're going to have to come to Citizens Bank Park for the first 2 games. So to me, I could care less. And to be honest with you, I really, truly hope that the Phillies get a rematch with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I want to shut people up for good, because I think the Phillies are a lot better than they were a year ago, and I think they'll be able to take care of this Diamondbacks team. Diamondbacks kind of caught them this year, literally at both of their down times. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens going forward in this. And if that's the team that most people are worried about, then let's get it out the way first. Let's play them first and see where it goes from there. If the Phillies are going to be world champions, they got to get that. They got to get that monkey off their back, which is the Arizona Diamondbacks. They have to do it. To be honest with you, I'm not worried about nobody else really in the National League. I think the Phillies own the Dodgers, and that's even if the Dodgers get out of the first round. The Mets, I'm not worried about the Mets, even though the Mets just took 3 or 4 from the Phillies. The Phillies were in cruise mode. I really don't. I don't think the Mets are on the Phillies level. Okay, the Padres, the Phillies own them. The only difference is I think the Padres have gotten a lot better since the Phillies have seen them. Me and Al and Sal talked about this on Sunday. I do think the Padres have gotten better since the Phillies seen them. You got to remember the Phillies did see them twice early on in the season when the Phillies were rolling. So I think that could be a challenge. Other than that, I don't think Milwaukee's a challenge. I don't think if the Braves get in, the Braves are going to be a challenge. They're just too beat up. So these are the teams that you're looking at right now that the Phillies are going to go in and play. So, you know what? Let me break out some of these comments real quick because everybody's checking in right now. Daniel Berry checking in saying, what's up, Daniel? The wife checking in, saying hello, love. Oh, CTH checking in, saying a scheduled loss. It's very nice for TCH to check in. She's a very busy person at this time of year. Star Wars checking in, says Schwarber, 102 RBIs. He says, blame Rob. I'm not blaming Rob for nothing, man. Rob, this is something that the last 3 years when they've clinched the next game, they've looked horrible. So you kind of got to chalk it up here with that one. Star Wars saying Harper 30th home run. You got to give it to him. Bill checking in says another topper giveaway game. Yeah, and it's happened the last 2 years, Bill. You know what I mean? That's for another show there, Star Wars, but you're right. That's something for another day. Dave Yarnell checking in. What's going on, Dave? He said, is it me or does the season ending early this year? Usually there's some regular games going in October. Just saying. Yeah, Dave, they started earlier this year. They started, actually, the league, the regular season actually started at the end of March this year, if you remember, or not. They kind of started earlier this year so they could have it end at the end of September so baseball can start literally in October. I think they're trying to get done now before November. They're not trying to run baseball into November because especially with cities up here in the Northeast, by the time November hits, it's usually a little colder up here. I don't know if you guys remember. I remember when Darren Daulton got traded to the Marlins. I want to say that was 97. I remember watching a World Series game and it was snowing. Like snow flurries were literally coming down while they were playing baseball in Cleveland. So differently abled DATV. Eagles going to the Super Bowl. I don't know, man. This is a Phillies post-game show. You know, hopefully from your lips to God's ears. I know I'll be rooting for it. But, guys, listen, let's take a run around the bases. Alrighty, guys, we got finals in from around Major League Baseball. Those red-hot Detroit Tigers, winners today, 2-1 over the Rays. In Pittsburgh, it was the Brewers beating the Pirates 7-2. It was the Cleveland Guardians 6-1 over those Cincinnati Reds. As you've seen here in South Philly tonight, it was the Cubbies 10, the Phillies 4. In the bottom of the ninth, right now in Nationals Park in Washington, the Royals and the Nationals, no score. In New York tonight, the Orioles lead the Yankees in the top of the eighth, 4-3. It is the Red Sox and Blue Jays knotted up at 3 in Toronto, down in hot Atlanta, and it just went final. It is the Atlanta Braves beating the New York Mets. Oh, God, the Mets are going to throw this away. They actually moved up to the 5th seed. So, and Atlanta's only a game and a half out of that. That's going to be wild finish. It is the Angels and the White Sox in the south side of Chicago tonight. End of the 5th. It is nothing there. Marlins are beating the Twins 4-1, and they're about to go into the 8th inning. The Minnesota Twins have free fallen, man. They were locked up in pretty much in that between the 4th and 3rd wild card spot. They are now out of it, looking up in the American League. The Astros have a 4-3 lead over those Seattle Mariners. the Cardinals are beating the Rockies, which, by the way, guys, if you haven't heard, longtime Rockies outfielder Charlie Blackmon has announced he will be retiring at the end of the season. I wish him well. He was really good outfielder for them guys, man. So tip of the cap there for a good career. In Oakland, the final series ever at the Oakland Coliseum, it is the Texas Rangers 1-0 in the first over those Oakland A's. And then in the bottom of the first, there's no score in Arizona. And literally in about 20 minutes, the Padres and Dodgers kick off from Chavez Ravine. So that is your – I'm sorry. Let me go to the standings real quick. As you know, the Phillies wrapped up everything. As you're looking – the Phillies. The Mets right now are a game and a half or 2 games over the Braves, but that's going to be now down to a game because the Mets lost tonight. Dodgers are 93-63. The Phillies are 93-64. So, again, going into tonight, we will have to wait and see what goes on there. So you're up to the minute. Where was it at? I just clicked it off of there because I didn't want to keep it up there. But your standings right now for the playoffs. In the American League right now, the Yankees they are at 92-64. Cleveland is at 91-67. Houston, 85-72. They're your top 3 in the American League. The bottom 4 wild cards, you have Boston with 86-70. You have the Detroit Tigers have moved into the 4th spot. They are 83-74. Kansas City is 82-74. Minnesota 81-75. Seattle 81-76. So right there, you got 5 teams fighting for 3 spots in the American League. The National League, you have the Dodgers 93-63. You have the Phillies that are 93-65. So they're about a game and a half back of the Dodgers going in. So I believe the Dodgers got to play tomorrow. I'm sorry, I think the Dodgers play Thursday. So to make up that half a game. But they're at 93-63. Phillies are 93-65. So they're the number 2 seed as of the moment. 90-67 are the Milwaukee Brewers. They're your top 3 in the National League. Wild card looks like this. You have the San Diego Padres at 90-66. You have the Arizona Diamondbacks at 87-70. The New York Mets, after their loss tonight, are 87-70. So if the Diamondbacks lose their game, they will fall underneath the Mets. Atlanta right now is basically 1 game out of a playoff spot. They are at 86-71. So they are literally fighting back and forth between them and the Mets. And I'll tell you what, if you're a Mets fan, I'd be a little worried because right after this series, you have the Milwaukee Brewers. The only thing you can hope for is that the Brewers are just resting some people, getting ready for their play-in series coming up. So that's the only thing that you can really kind of hope for. The Braves, on the other hand, they got the Kansas City Kansas City Royals coming in. So they're going to be, they're going to be playing a team that's going to be fighting for their lives. So, again, I think it bodes well for the Mets to get in. It doesn't bode well for the Atlanta Braves to get in. So you're potentially looking at your wild card matchups right now, technically, in the National League. You would have the Milwaukee Brewers against the New York Mets, and you would have Arizona against San Diego, traveling to San Diego as it stands right now. Come after Thursday, we would have to take a look and see what's what. But looking at it, like I said, it's been a whirlwind of things. Because this is, I'm sorry, that was tonight's only game 1 of that Mets Atlanta series. So they go to Thursday. Same thing with the same thing. The Diamondbacks lost last night, so their series will end on Wednesday. They'll probably get a day off before they have to go play the Padres this weekend. But But if you're looking at it, there's some pretty key matchups going on there. Braves and Mets tomorrow, as they go Padres, Dodgers, Diamondbacks and Giants. Giants are trying to play spoilers Thursday. You're looking at the Brewers play the Pirates on Thursday. Mets and Braves, Padres, Dodgers. So there's a lot of I think the Phillies are one of the rare few teams that get an off day going forward this weekend before they go down and play DC coming up on Friday. And I'll tell you what, this weekend's games, guys, you got the Royals going to the Braves, like I said. You got the Mets and the Brewers to be taken out. You got Orioles, Twins for the American League. The Tigers, I think, got the best chance right now. They got to go play the White Sox, who are probably going to have 100 and they're at 120 right now. They're going to be at like 124 losses before all said and done, guys. So, I mean, that's going to be crazy. Dave Yarnell checking in says Mets need 2 to clinch a playoff spot. If they take 2 out of 3, they're in, if I'm not mistaken. They do, Dave, but actually tonight the Braves held that off. As we're looking at it right now, they did beat the Mets tonight 5-1. Again, the Braves just have their number. As much as a lot of people hate the Braves, you got to say this: they have they have the division's number. They really do. For many years, they've had the Phillies number throughout the regular season. They've had the Mets number throughout the regular season. You know, I think the Fish and the Nationals play them tougher than the Phillies and the Mets do, because it always seems like the Braves get the upper hand in those matchups throughout the season. They didn't this year because, let's be honest, they had a lot of guys go down. But for one, I don't feel sorry about the shape that the Braves are in right now about them going down, because them and the Dodgers, it seems like they could always go to AAA, grab a player, plug them in, and that player would be the next best player. That whatever guy was hurt or coming back or whatever, they could move on from that person. And they would have another bona fide star sitting there waiting. To see them kind of take it on the chin this year, you don't want to see injuries, but, baseball guys kind of got even with them on certain things. So, well, guys, with that being said, Phillies, once again, they go down tonight 10-4 to the Chicago Cubs. It's been great being back with you guys. It really has. Again, MattyB will be on the call tomorrow. Let me bring that up again. There you have it. MattyB will be on the Phightins Final call. And get ready, guys, too, for all you guys who've been following us on the Phightins Final. Just to give you a little heads up, October's around the corner. And the Clear the Ice will be back again for a 3rd season. And we got some new members with us on the Clear the Ice. They will be joining us. So once again, make sure you tune in for that. We're going to be getting ready to do that. And of course, we got all the Eagles. We got the Eagles coverage going on here, here at EOP. And don't forget, guys, this is Tuesday night. So tomorrow, not only do you have MattyB doing the Phightins Final, you got Edge of Philly Sports with Joe Sheeran, Freddie Burns, and Al Zaffiri. Before that, you got our boys Bill Chet Chesko and Bill Furman doing Press Box Radio. Make sure you guys tune in. We will have you covered. Tomorrow morning, our boy Phil Stifle, trending in the AM. Make sure you get on there. Give Phil a holler. Give Phil a follow. And again, guys, I will be back Friday night for the Phightins Final. And then Saturday morning, make sure you tune in to return of the Patterson Avenue Fanatics, Joey Marks, James Scorza. And I believe their guest this week is the one and only Frank Finnegan will be on this week. So make sure you tune in 9 a.m. Saturday morning for those guys and myself. SalG is in again for Pat Bernard. Pat Bernard, I love Pat to death, but he's on assignment for EOP. So he will not be in studio this week. He will have Attacking the Third at 8 a.m. before we go on it live. So it'll be me, SalG, and Al again for this week. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And, of course, Saturday we have the Eagles pre and post game and halftime show for the Eagles. Also, we got all the cross all the time guys, Double G, Double M, Double S. Make sure you tune into those guys as well. Guys, it's been fun. But again, Phillies lose out on the what's the guess? I guess if last night was the clinching game, tonight was the hangover game. So Phils lose the hangover game to the Cubbies 10-4. I am Mike Lauro. I will see you Friday night. Have a good night.